Welcome back, esteemed viewers. If you just joined us, this is The Press on KAFTAN TV, where we analyze and discuss various top stories on our national dailies. We've just been joined in by our guest right here in the studio. He is a public affairs analyst and he goes by the name Attai. Attai. I don't know if I got the pronunciation.
It's okay, you're trying.
Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm fine.
How are you navigating the cost of living crisis here in Nigeria?
Well, we are following. It's unfortunate, but every day things keep happening, and it makes our hearts to break.
That's true. All right, viewers, the number to call in to join the conversation or discussion is being displayed on your screen. So you can call in to join us to, ask questions or give your contributions as the conversation kicks out. All right, Gordon. The insecurity issues in Nigeria is becoming alarming. I mean, just this morning, we got a report from Benue State that bandits attacked 9 communities. And apart from Benue, we also had one in Katsina State, whereby 18 people were abducted this morning in Katsina State. And now our president is kind of giving us an assurance that these insecurity challenges will be over soon. I mean, the question is how soon? Because this happens on a daily basis. What's your reaction on this?
Well, between 2011 and now, we've had series of cases of insecurity, insurgencies, terrorist attacks, and so on. We've lost so many citizens, so many servicemen. We've also lost so many community leaders, so many people. So I think what we should do now is not talking. It's high time we began to do the needful, not to continue to talk, not to say it will be over soon. It sounds like religious rhetorics. We'll go to heaven. No.
And we don't know when is it.
And we don't know. And we live, die, and we are not in heaven.
That's true.
So what I want to say here is that the politicians, the military, the security, and in fact the president knows the right thing to do. These bandits or terrorists or insurgents, where do they live? Do they operate from outer space? How do they get their supply, their weapons? Even the food they eat while staying in the bush, where do they get? Because they cannot be bandits or terrorists or whatever you call if there are no people behind them
supporting them.
Who are the sponsors? So I think the government has to go to the root of the matter. There has to be a political and administrative will to tackle this. I remember during President Obasanjo, some states where a state of emergency was imposed in some states. During Jonathan, state of emergency was imposed in the northeast, I think at the local government levels, to enable government to move in. So government has to move further from saying it will be over soon. We are on top of the matter and all of that. Then we have heard of the cases of killings of servicemen.
In Delta State.
In Delta State.
17 soldiers were slain.
Yes. The next question there was, what happened in Delta? They said they went on peacekeeping.
Peacekeeping mission,
Okay, fine. So that means there was an outbreak of hostilities.
That's true.
Who were involved? Who are these communities? Was the police in the know? Was it the primary duty of soldiers to move in? What did the police do? Now, if soldiers move in, who killed the soldiers? Where did they come from? Because it is a criminal offense to kill a serviceman.
That's true.
And it's also criminal offense for soldiers to waste lives in the communities. So two wrongs cannot make any right here. So government really need to sit up. Otherwise, one day we'll discover that Nigeria is at war. The entire Nigeria is at war with itself. And nobody will be safe. Right now, in the northeast, northwest, and some now in the Niger Delta, we are having these issues.
That's true.
So I want to appeal to the government to really sit up. That's two. Then second, and then thirdly, the National Assembly should investigate this matter. We are hearing from the Defense Ministry.
Yeah.
We are hearing from the Presidency. Some of us still find it sketchy to know what really happened. Let there be an independent inquiry. Let the National Assembly word in. The Defense Minister, the service chiefs, the community leaders, the government should be summoned. Let us really know what happened. And then let us broker a solution to the problem.
But then the state governors are kind of, preferring a solution to incorporate the state police, into the constitutional amendments that they're telling National Assembly to incorporate state police. Do you think this solution will, yield tangible results in terms of mitigating these insecurity challenges in Nigeria?
Ordinarily, I would have supported the state police issue.
Okay.
But the problem I have with government at the state level is that some governors behave so irresponsibly. Sometime in the past, the idea of having electoral bodies at the state came up.
That's true.
And we said, okay, let us have electoral bodies to conduct elections for the local governments. But before you know it, the governors pocketed the electoral bodies. And you cannot have a free and fair election. It became a case that governors say, okay, these are my boys, announce them. So if we now say, governors, have state police, are we going to have an unbiased state police? Will the state police become a continuation of the boys of politicians? Would it become a continuation of religious fanatics? So, because of this, I'll say no to state police.
Wow.
Rather, I'll say let the government go in, investigate, and punish offenders. Because over the years, offenders have not been punished. Some offenders have become sacred cows. Their names are not mentioned.
That's true.
The sponsors, who are the sponsors? Let us know them. Then if the sponsors are punished, if the offenders are punished, then others will now know, oh, this is a crime, we must not be involved. So state police is not the solution. But state police could add to the problem. I'm saying that as a politician, I know what the politicians do. We take undue advantage of every situation. Not everybody anywhere, but most do this.
Okay. And is there a way this insecurity issue can be eradicated?
Absolutely. There are ways.
Wow. What ways?
Like I have said, we need to have the political and administrative will to tackle.
Okay.
There's something that goes on in Nigeria today. If, like I am a Kwaibo man, if I commit an offense, my people will rally around me. So leave our son, leave our son.
Okay.
If it is a Yoruba man, the Yorubas will rally around, please leave our son. The same thing goes with other tribes. So if people are involved in this, or if a Christian is involved in a crime, Christians should not rally around him.
Okay.
Muslims should not rally around a Muslim offender. Let the law take its course.
Okay.
Let offenders be punished. When they are punished, then they will come. There will be a restoration of the peace. We have had a situation that high-profile politicians make some hate speeches. They say things. For example, the other day, somebody said something about the First Lady, that she's a pastor, that she ought not to be the First Lady. You see, this is religious fanaticism.
Exactly.
And that man, up till now, I do not know, I have not heard if he's been apprehended, if he's been punished. So if we allow things like this to go on, more and more will come. So let the government sit up now and then go to the root of the matter, arrest the offenders, try them, and the rest will say no to crime.
Okay. All right, let's move away from insecurity issues and talk about the minimum wage between NLC, TUC, and the federal government, which you know has been long overdue. They keep hammering on this minimum wage. And now the NLC has given the federal government April as a deadline to meet their demand. But then the governors are saying that meeting your demand is not the issue, but then your demand shouldn't be an outrageous one. It should be one that the federal government can meet. What's your reaction on this wage demand?
Ever since I was a child, there has been this talk of war between the labor organizations and the government.
The federal government, yeah.
But what baffles me is that the federal government sits with them, agree on something,
exactly.
And then renege. So that's the problem. Then the second one, must the federal government set a minimum wage also for states? We don't all earn equally.
That's true.
Some states earn more than others. There are some states in this country that can even pay more than what the federal pays.
That's true.
And there are states that cannot. So I would say, let the issue of minimum wage not be centralized anymore. Let the states pay according to what they can. And then let the federal government also pay. But federal government, when you have agreed, before this agreement, make sure that you have looked into your budget, look into your income, and know that, yes, this I can pay. And not tomorrow you renege, because it's irresponsible to do that. Then on the side of the labor leaders, let them also realize that they are Nigerians. Things are difficult. So the insistent demands should take into cognizance the economic situation.
That's true.
Now, another one is, if we say, okay, let us set minimum wage. Fine, it's good to review minimum wage from time to time. There is something that federal government should also do. Because as the minimum wage is increased, you discover that tax regimes also increase.
Yeah.
The more people are overtaxed, the more some people run away from paying tax, they evade tax. And then the money that you pay, the jumbo salary, will not amount to anything.
That's true.
That's what way I'm heading to. So what I'm trying to say here is that, yes, let the minimum wage be increased, but one, let's take into cognizance the economic situation. Then let federal government allow states to negotiate with their labor leaders and not negotiate for them.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my contribution there.
But then if we are saying that states should generate revenue, like the report here we're having now is that the states owe federal government 1.7 trillion naira budget loans. With this debt, how can states generate revenue?
States can generate revenue if they want to.
In what ways?
And the federal government can also allow states to generate revenue. You see, the problem is that from 1966 to now, we've been operating a unitary system. The military introduced by Decree 33 of 1966. Thereby, federal government commandeers all sources of derivation. They don't allow states to make their money. They make the money. So if states now generate their, derive and then pay tax to the federal government, you discover that federal government should also shape their loads. For example, the federal government has no business with owning universities. You don't have any business with there are some ministries that ought not to be kept by the federal government. The Constitution says that you only have Abuja as your land. Now, when you own universities, where are those universities located? So, some of this should be, you should shed the load. But you discover that every day, federal government keep establishing new universities. And these universities take a lot of money.
That's true.
Every year, federal government keeps bringing new burden on itself because he is the biggest paymaster. So let us, that will lead us to the issue of resource control. If we allow state to generate their income, pay tax to the federal government, the state will take more responsibility. State has money or has sources of generating money. In the north here, there's a lot of arable land. State can go into serious agriculture. They have solid minerals. In the south, we also have. There is no state in Nigeria that does not have sources of income.
So most of these resources are being siphoned or hoarded.
Exactly. You discover that some big men somewhere. One day I was traveling to Bida. Along the road, I saw some people mining solid minerals. The locals were mining, and some big men waiting in tinted glass cars, waiting to collect.
And now, that's illegal mining.
These are illegal minings. You can be rest assured that such income does not enter the government coffers. Then how would government generate money? How would that state make money when some sacred cows are controlling its source of derivation? So there are a lot of things. I think we need to go into re-engineering of our polity, of the nation. Let us look at, there are so many things we ought not to do again that have become things that should belong to the infancy of human reason. We shouldn't do again.
Then, talking about illegal minings now, the federal government of recent has inaugurated 2,200 new mining marshals to smoke out illegal miners. Do you think this is going to have any effects when it comes to illegal mining? That is curbing or mitigating illegal mining in Nigeria?
What? Even if we have 1 million marshals, if these marshals will not compromise,
that's another problem, the issue of compromising. Because
I remember when some security men were sent to the Niger Delta to check illegal refining. At the end of the day, we ended up opening ATM machines for some people.
Wow.
They compromised. So I think we have to go on beyond that. Let the government, the state government, be involved in derivation. Let them be involved in mining, whatever, whether solid mineral or hydrocarbon or whatever. Let the government at the state level be fully involved. When they know that, yes, these come to us, they will now know that they have to control. They don't allow illegal miners to come in. They don't allow illegal refiners to come in. Knowing that they have to pay tax to the federal government. But when the state government does next to nothing, at the end of the month, they go with their cap to collect money from national cake. Money is coming from above.
That's true.
So it breeds irresponsibility. So even the state politicians can look the other way. And who are these illegal miners? Are they angels?
No, they are not. All right, let's talk about the Naira appreciation and depreciation. As of yesterday, the Naira depreciated to 1,489 Naira per dollar. And now this morning, we are having a report on its appreciation, that is 1,382 Naira per dollar. And now the president is cautioning speculators. Is it that the problem now is from the speculators giving us wrong speculation of the fluctuation, or should we even focus on the reason behind the Naira fluctuating, depreciating and appreciating? What exactly can be done to stop this?
From my own point, I would like to start from the political class, maybe because I'm one.
Okay.
Okay. If we do not create artificial scarcity for, or no, not artificial scarcity, if we do not make the foreign currency to have more value, to become more sought after than our money. I remember when I was a child in the late 70s, dollar was 50 kobo. And people were looking for Naira all over the world.
Yeah, Naira was more appreciated then.
But somewhere along the line, we kept implementing one program from the West. When I mean the West, Europe and America and so on, they do this one, do that one. We begin to tinker on our economy from structural adjustment program to IMF program to World Bank program. At the end of the day, this is where we are. Then secondly, if we will stop looting, if I am in office and I don't loot and then try to convert this money into hard currency.
Yeah, especially during elections.
Exactly. Because it makes the dollar, for example, to become more sought after.
Yeah, more valuable.
While our own money depreciates in value until it becomes what the Ugandans told their president, Lady Diamin, that it has become toilet tissue money. And the man said, do you mean that, you know, we remember the story. So if we don't have too many merchants of foreign currency, that's the second one. Then the third one, the federal government, I want to appeal to the president to look at, if he wants to declare state of emergency in the economic sector, should go ahead. Why is it that our products, our produce in Nigeria are sold in dollars? What happened to our dear Naira? Russia is selling its product in their national currency. So that people now go after their currency. So if we now say, okay, henceforth, oil will be sold in Naira. Let the white people also come and look for Naira. If we say all our solid minerals are going to be sold in Naira, if we say all our farm produce, that all our exports are sold in Naira, you see Naira will overnight go up. So let us value our currency. Let's not begin to patronize foreign currency and abandon our own. So these are things that will take a political and administrative will, because there are some countries that don't wish us well. The moment we begin to do this, they begin to call the president, no, you shouldn't, why do you do this? They begin to query. Then why should we allow others to control us like that? Then the third one, the ones we have stolen and taken out, let's begin to bring them back.
Very, very important.
Let us bring them back. Because if we bring them, I don't know, I also call on the president to maybe declare amnesty for looters. So that they can now be free to bring back the money. Let us invest in this economy.
Exactly.
Because if we invest, it will raise our standard of living. It will raise our economy. It will make us to emerge from the woods. But if we don't invest, we have virtually become a consumer economy.
That's true.
Everything comes in. Toothpick, toys.
We export more than import.
Yes.
No, rather we
export our raw materials and we receive the finished goods. Even petrol. We export crude oil and import petrol. Is that not?
Let's take this call. Let's take this call.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Reuben. Confidence.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Okay, it's your regular caller, Mr. Akin from Lagos.
Oh, Akin, thanks for joining us. Your contribution.
And hello to Mr. Gadon. I really enjoy your analysis. In fact,
thank you.
You talk gently, but with a lot of wisdom and a lot of points you have risen. I'm not laying a curse on Nigeria, but the truth of the matter is this: all you have said, in fact, if all you have said are being done by the leaders and us, the led, Nigeria won't find ourselves in such situation. And in as much as these things that you have said, for anyone who can listen critically, are not being done, it's not a cause. Nigeria will never get headway. No, it's not a cause. We can never get headway. You can't just continue deceiving yourself while you know that you're actually deceiving yourself and you will expect miracle. So now, let's look at the issues of resource control. I don't know why resource control is an headache to some part of this country. Every part of Nigeria we are blessed, whether the north or south or whatever. It's just laziness of some of us. And this federal government of the thing that we are practicing, that we have to let the money or the fund go to federal before it disposes back, it's another long way of doing things. If there is a resource control, security will be taking good care of it, okay? And again, I don't, let me not take much of time. This issue of security, I'm looking at Nigerian army, I still keep on emphasizing on this. These terrorists are taking advantage of the number of the army personnel that we are having. That is my own understanding. Is it not possible that Nigeria, are we afraid that there may be a military coup? There should be a law. Is it not possible for us to have like 1 million serving military personnel, such that across the border and ungoverned areas there are special militaries that are just right there, border military. Whether there is peace or whether there is no peace, so that is what they should be assigned for. The government, they know what to do. They don't just want to do it. How can you tell us that we have 200 military? Even our military, even their city, they cannot go rounds across. It's a reality. So even the so-called the police, we know the way police are being treated and what they are subjected to in this country. That themselves, I'm sorry to say to Nigerian police, I love you, but the fact that I love you, that doesn't mean that I should not say the evil that some of you, not all of you, that are doing. So some of you give excuses. Okay, I'm rounding up that you have not been paid well. So all these things are the problem Nigeria are having. I'm sick and tired of, even if all Mr. Kadon has said are not being followed, we are wasting our time. But God will help Mr. Tinubu see him through. A gentle step is taken. May God continue to open his heart. But again, those that are going to execute it is another issue. How he handle it. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You heard the caller.
The gentleman has talked about the issue of security again, and it reminds me of something.
Okay.
At the twilight of the Babangida years, there was this move to establish a National Guard. In fact, I think we had something like that, but soon after the next regime came in, it was disbanded. I would suggest to Mr. President, let the civil defense be converted to National Guard and be moved to become one of the armed forces in the Ministry of Defense.
Okay.
The country, Nigeria, shouldn't have less than, the gentleman mentioned 1 million soldiers. We shouldn't have less than even 3 million.
Wow.
We should take the issue of security and safety of life and property as the number one. Otherwise, we fail.
So you're saying we have minimal amount of soldiers right presently in Nigeria?
Yes, it doesn't commensurate with the population. We are a country of about 220 million.
Wow.
And we are still talking about armed forces of less than 200,000. It's laughable. That's number one. Then two, we should also equip them.
Okay.
Sometimes you hear stories of how funds were diverted, funds meant for equipping the military. To something I remember when the immediate past administration came in, we were told of how funds were diverted. If we keep diverting funds, then how are we going to equip our military? We'll end up sending our children, our sons and daughters to go and die. I mean, our servicemen. They cannot fight. You see, security issues have changed. So we cannot continue to operate in a primitive manner. We have to upgrade our military. We have to introduce defense. I mean, we have to improve on our defense system, internal defense system.
Okay.
We have to improve on what do you call this? Missile defense system. If there should be an external aggression, can we face it? Like what used to happen in Middle East.
Okay, Gordon, time is against us.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank
it's
you
good
so
to have
much,
you
Confidence.
join us. Thank you so much. All right, viewers, this is where we draw the curtain on today's episode on The Press. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Do stay tuned for more updates on KAFTAN TV. I am Confidence Reuben.